It's pretty much the same as what I wrote. What is Kriya? The term Kriya refers to the particular methods of yoga, specifically pranayama. Yama meaning control and prana meaning life force or subtle energy. The term Kriya is shared by various branches of yogic teachings. This is because it's a simple Sanskrit term meaning to act or to do. In my tradition, it began with Mahavatara Babaji, whom told lahiri mahasaya that just a little of this Kriya would save its practitioners from the tragedy of reincarnation. Later, the term caught on from lahiriji himself, as he would expound a teaching of sahaja yoga, a non-dual, natural way of life. His faithful advice to disciples taking their leave would be simply, do your Kriya. As for some detail, Kriya Yoga is a methodical system of pranayama, aimed at enlightening a practitioner as rapidly as possible. It is raja, or complete, due to its refinement as a practice maintained and handed down from master to disciple. It pre-existed creation as a God-given method of transcendence from mayic illusion, built into man. This is experienced in its practice, specifically in Yoni Mudra. With practice, Kriya allows for an almost immediate return to the self in a deeper, more profound experience than any other known methods. Kriya brings the yogi back to the natural shore of sahaja samadhi, or nirvana, the ultimate state of self and God realization, an effortless, permanent state of perfect consciousness where no techniques are required. When the fruit appears, the flower falls, as they say. Kriya practice combines the breath, visualization, feeling sense, and thought in a concentrated act directed toward the spinal pathway and brain, enlivening the sushumna and the chakras or subtle matrices. Through lifetimes of externalization, these chakras have become knotted outwardly. Kriya reverses this knotting, unfolding the matrices and allowing their natural calibration, and re-establishing one's consciousness in the sahasrara at the crown of the head. Up there. So that's a basic rundown of the Kriya Yoga that was brought to the West by Paramahansa Yogananda. Kriya Yoga that was started by lahiri mahasaya and mahavatara babaji. One teaching only in private, the other being the public exponent, meaning Babaji teaching only to a few disciples in the Himalayas, lahiri mahasaya being one of them and being the public exponent of the technique. Kriya is also victim to the prejudices and ignorances of its practitioners and their need for egoic validation in silly religious terms, keeping it completely private to death, or disallowing non-monastics from teaching. These are the big hiccups in Kriya Yoga as a movement, as a spiritual movement. Otherwise, Kriya Yoga is perfect. It's got 108 variants, but its basic method is always the same. You're always going to have the same basic structure in the true Kriya Yoga that came from these enlightened gurus. So once you know that basic structure, once you've practiced and really got that locked in, then you're basically free, and from there you try to go deeper There are very complex forms of Kriya. As you go deeper and deeper, they get more and more difficult, more and more challenging. But the basic Kriya, as lahiri mahasaya always expounded, as Yukteswar and Yogananda taught, the basic Kriya is enough to get you to the shores of God realization. The only thing about it is you got to do a little more of it than you would have to do the more complex teachings. Certain things were kind of left behind as the teachings went westward to kind of acclimate to the people that were practicing it. And people get hung up on, oh, this guru took that out, that guru took this out, and think that they're number one in the world yogi because they have, an extra technique that helps a little bit. It's all silliness. It's nothing to get caught up in. Kriya Yoga is about God realization. It is merely a method to knowing the self. As so many prophets and saints have always warned, that if you get caught up in the method, you lose the purpose of the method. You get caught up in the specialty of the method, you get caught up in the specialty of the way to God, you might lose God in that method. So it takes wisdom, it takes basic, simple wisdom to succeed and not get caught up that way. Regardless of who you are and how you want to be, a radical love for God is the absolute necessity for spiritual success. The thing about yoga is it's a personal religion. It's not an outward religion. It's not an organizational religion. It's a personal religion. It is a direct, logical method to knowing the self and God. That any decent human being can use. I guess bad people could use it too. And hopefully through its use they would turn good.